The Louie Tee Network is powered by MusicHead University. MusicHeads, classes in session. Turn me up. Enroll on YouTube now. Link is in the description.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie Tee? Welcome to the Command Post Game Live Show. You know what it is. Post up. Take command. I, of course, am your Commander-in-Chief, Louie Tee. Thank you for joining me. Whew. Wipe the brow a little bit. That was a lot closer than it needed to be. Too damn close for comfort, if you ask me. However, a win's a win's a win in the National Football League. And I don't care how you do it, just do it, man. Just do it. Man, we got a lot to discuss today because that game had no business being as close as it ultimately did. But when you're talking about a young football team who is trying to find ways to, win the games that they're supposed to, and I always talk about this, the first step on the road to becoming a good team, a triple P, a perennial playoff participant, is you got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And we did that today. We just didn't do it in the fashion that we would have liked to. But a win's a win's a win in the National Football League, and don't you forget it. All right. We can sit here and we can lament about the officiating, which was horrendous. It's the worst officiated game we've been a part of this season. And we've been a part of some rough ones, but nothing like this. We literally were playing against the Saints and the officials, and that's the first time I felt that way this season. I felt like there have been games where it's been slanted towards the opposition. The Ravens game kind of comes to mind, but this takes the cake. But that's not why this game was close. No, that's not why this game was close, okay? This game was close because we were sloppy with the handles. From the word go. How about the opening possession of the game offensively for the Commanders? How about the sloppiest touchdown drive you've probably ever seen in your life? How was that one going down for you? Because for me, I was like, what the hell is this shit? I can't get jiggy with this shit. You go down, you get inside the 5. Jaden Daniels decides he wants to stretch the ball out. Why? I don't know, right? It gets knocked out of his hands. Thank God for Jeremy McNichols, who was paying attention and went after the football. A lot of guys thought the play was over, and McNichols went after that ball. If he didn't, the ball would have been awarded to New Orleans. So that backed us up from, second and goal at the, 1.5 yard line, all the way back to the 7. Then Jaden runs it all the way back down to the 1. And then we have a holding penalty. Now we're all the way back to the 17 yard line. And then Jaden has to turn into Lamar Jackson to get it. What an ugly opening drive that was. I mean, you got to be kidding me. But it ended up being a touchdown. So all's well that ends well, right? That's what a wise man once told me. All's well that ends well. It ended well, so we'll keep it pushing. Then you've got penalties all over the place. We had so many penalties in the first half. And these were legit penalties before the officials started calling bullshit. These were legitimate penalties. Bad penalties where you go, hey, what are we doing? Terry on a third down, throwing a wide receiver screen. Like, that's on you, Terry. You can't try to get outside of Diami on that block. You're causing him to hold. You have to cut inside on that block. You caused him to hold. That's a bad read of a block, Terry. You caused that holding penalty. Don't blame that on Diami Brown. That's on you. We were just doing dumb shit. And you look up and you're like, we should be winning this game by a gajillion, but it's 14-0. We had a drive at the end of the first half. We're moving it. And I'm like, this is the dagger right here. You score a touchdown. It's 21-0. We get ball after half. This thing is over. And then we have 2 penalties. Oh, that kills that drive. So much for that. So it's 14-0 at half. Sloppy first half. I didn't like the run-pass distribution in the first half. I thought it was marginal at best. I thought Cliff got a little too happy throwing it in the first half. But I wasn't complaining. And look, we were up 14-0. Jake Haener was ass. And so you're a little disappointed that there isn't a bigger margin at the half. But okay, let's put it away with this opening drive. And it's a beautiful opening salvo in the second half. We march it all the way down to the 1 yard line. And then for some inexplicable reason, Cliff decides, I'm going to try that same dumbass naked boot that we tried against the Eagles on 4th down that had no chance in hell of working. Maybe it'll work this time. Cliff, do me a favor. Take that entire play and take it out of the playbook. I don't ever want to see it again this season. Please and thank you. That is the second time you've run that in a critical situation, and that's the second time that shit didn't have a chance in hell of working. Please get rid of that play. Please and thank you. So instead of being aggressive there, first of all, it should have been a B-Rob run. He's the one that got us down there in the first place. Should have been him capping that thing off, making it 21-0, and the game would have been over at that point. Instead, we kicked the field goal. I didn't have an issue with that. Because at that time, we didn't know that Spencer Rattler was coming in. And if Jake Haener was going to continue to play, they might not have scored today. And that was the ideology that they were going off of when he decided, hey, let's just kick the field goal. And I didn't disagree with that. And you know what came with that was a mentality of, hey, these guys stink. And we can be cocky and arrogant. Let me give you an example. It was second on that first Spencer Rattler drive. It was 2nd and 10. They called the Saints for holding. You know, we had the gravitas. We had the audacity to decline a 2nd and 10 holding penalty to make it 3rd and 10 because we looked at Jake Haener and the Saints in the first half and said, they can't pick up a 3rd and 10. But it was Spencer Rattler in the second half. But we didn't switch the flip, or we didn't flip the switch, excuse me, to say, hey, this guy's actually a playmaker. This guy's going to actually try and make something happen. So we probably should make it 2nd and 20 so they can't convert this thing. But we hadn't flipped the switch yet. We were still treating them like Jake Haener was in. And of course, on 3rd and 10, he throws a 12-yard pass and gets a first down. And I said, I hope you learned your lesson. And they ended up going down the field. They did some trickeration. Kamara with a great catch on that because I think they would have ended up settling for a field goal. I really, truly do. But that's no here nor there. They get the touchdown. And I said, all right, I told the mob, I said, we got to stop treating them like hoes now. Because we was on some hoe shit. When we declined the 2nd and 10 holding, we was like, oh, yeah, they ain't going to do shit. So don't worry about it. So, all right, now you got to tighten up. Now you got to treat them like a real NFL outfit. And I told the offense, hey, finish this, please, because you already know what this is. You know how this goes. We had this discussion so many times. Like, you know the defense is going to collapse in the 4th quarter. It's our move. It's what we do. Like, come on. Did you really think? And so the offense had Cliff, I thought, did outside of that one play call at the 1 yard line and the wide receiver screen after the penalty, the holding, which I thought was a BS penalty called on Nick Allegretti, but whatever. After that penalty, we threw a wide receiver screen that ended up being incomplete. I did not like that play call at all. Those are the 2 play calls that I didn't like from Cliff in this game. Outside of that, I thought Cliff was masterful in his play calling. At one point, it didn't feel like we ran it enough. I actually looked at the numbers, and B-Rob had 21 carries. It did not feel like he had 21 carries. It did not feel like he had 21 carries today, but he did. But I thought he did a really good job of keeping the Saints off balance. And I said, hey, I need this over on offense. And Cliff dialed up a shot to Terry. Wide ass open, and Jaden missed him. And I told the mob, at that point, the score was 20-10. And I told the mob, we need a knockout shot. And Cliff dialed up and delivered. And Jaden did not, unfortunately. And it was one of the few passes that he threw today because he was spectacular today. Outside of the sacks, we're going to get to that, okay? No stone left unturned on this victory Sunday. No, sir. We'll get to that in a bit. But he was spectacular today. And we don't win this game without him. That said, he missed. And that was the knockout shot. That was the dagger. And I told the mob when he missed that first throw to Terry, I did not know that he would have 2 more opportunities to dispose of this Saints team. But I told the mob in that moment, that was our shot. That was our moment. And we missed it. I said, now we're going to have to sweat this out. And they weren't trying to hear the shit at the time, but I said to the mob, those were my exact words. I said, that was the dagger. Now we're going to have to sweat this one out. I knew it. I know my team. Seen this movie plenty of times. Plenty of times. So, of course, that drive goes nowhere after the missed attempt to Terry. So we punt and we pin them. We pin them at their own 4-yard line. On 6, excuse me. And on the first play of that possession, Spencer Rattler drops back. Good pressure on the play. I want to say it was Dorrance Armstrong, who had a really strong performance today. Gets pressure on him. It might have been Jeremy Chin, who we called a blitz, and Chin came free. Whatever the case may be. He was under duress, and he just threw the bitch out of bounds. The receiver's running a go route. No one's even close. And I'm like, hey, officials, whoo-hoo. You've been calling a lot of bullshit in the second half. All of it on us. That's intentional grounding. Are you going to bother to throw the flag, or no, we're just going to say F it. Let them do whatever they want to do. And they said, no, he's fine. Let him do what he wants to do. It's his prerogative. Cool. Next play. Spencer Rattler hits Foster Moreau. Great pass. Catch and run. They're out of the shadow of their own goalpost. And then the official says, that's not good enough. We know you need a little bit of help. I'll give you 15 on the backside of that thing. And we look at the replay and we're like, are you kidding me? He didn't even take him. He didn't even go to the ground. He hit him right here around his shoulder, and he pushed him on the ground, and he didn't even go down. Put his hands up and everything. And they still threw the flag. And I go, you got to be kidding me. That's the second one of these suspect, dumbass, personal foul penalties. You got to be kidding me. Unreal. But they drive it down the field. There's no Alvin Kamara, so you're like, well, they got no more Alvin Kamara. No worries. Kendre Miller's going to come in and have some fun now. But we get the stop, but not before Frankie Louvu has a chance to end the game. We're up 20-10. There's less than 8 minutes to go in the ball game. You pick that ball off. It's a 10-point game. It's 2 possessions. Their offense isn't explosive and dynamic enough to score twice in a matter of 8 minutes. Plus, our offense is about to get busy, eat up some of this clock. We're going to cut this thing in half, clockwise, worst case scenario on this next possession. But nope. Oos has hands like a goose. Do geese even have hands? No, they got feet, right? So I guess he does have hands like a damn goose. They're non-existent. The ball went right through his damn hands. Should have been an easy pick. Ball is life. We had another chance to take it away. Mike Saber still dropped a pick, had another chance to get another one, to add to the one that he had earlier in the game. But we don't like nice things. Not on defense. Apparently, we don't like nice things on offense either, as we're finding out, right? We don't like nice things on offense either. So they get 3 points out of that possession. Should have gotten 0. Now it's 20-13. And the whole time I'm thinking, offense, if you don't end this, they're going to score and they're going to go for 2. Now, I never in my mind allowed myself to get to the point where we lost this game 21-20, but I knew they were going to go for 2. I did know that. And I said, if you don't do something, offense, we're going to find ourselves in a position where we can lose this game. And sure enough, the offense, Jaden said, I got it. I got it. And I'm proud of DQ for going for it because I told you he flipped the switch after he saw what Spencer Rattler was doing. He said, okay, I know what I have to do here. Offense, I need you to win this game. And that's a gutsy call. We were at our own 40, like 44-yard line, 45, because we needed one. We're at our own 45-yard line when we called that 4th and 1. And the Saints played it well. And Jaden had to improvise and be a dog. And he jumps over the pile and he gets the first down. And I'm like, hell yeah. This is what it means to be one of them ones. When we need you the most, you step up and you make it happen. And he did. And I said, that should be the first down that sparks us, that puts us in a position to put it away. Then he makes an incredible throw to OZ. You know, Chase Young jumps in the air. He throws it right around him. And there's a defender right there, and he sips it past him, and OZ right there. And I'm like, damn, that's gorgeous. Let's go win this puppy. That put us at the 30. We should be in the clear right now. We run it with B-Rob. We lose 3 yards or so. So then Jaden has to go be, you know, the magician that he is, and he throws a dot to Diami, who goes up and snatches it, and I'm so proud of him, and that's the game. Now we're inside the 20. You know, they're going to have to start using their timeouts, and now we're in chip shot field goal range, et cetera, except because we don't like nice things, and we can't make it easy on ourselves. We refuse to make it easy on ourselves in this game. Nick Allegretti is flagged for holding. I didn't like the call. It wasn't one of the more egregious calls of the day, but it wasn't a good call. I've seen guys getting hooked on our side of the field like that all day, and they didn't throw the flag. Now you decide to throw the flag? Really? So that backs us up. And then Cliff gets cute, wants to throw a wide receiver screen instead of just running the football. Because the goal at that point was, hey, let's just get back into manageable field goal range. And if we can force them to use their timeouts in the process, all the better. But let's just get back into better field goal range. I don't want Greg Joseph kicking a 54-yard field goal here. So let's run the ball here. But you know what I would have preferred them do? Put it in the hands of 5. Because what I know 5 is going to do is he's going to take care of the ball. So if you tell 5 on this play, as you're giving him the play call, hey, keep it in bounds. If you don't like it, tuck it and run. I don't even care if you take a sack. Just tuck it and run. Right? He wasn't going to get sacked. He was going to tuck it and run, or he's going to find somebody open and he's going to drop it off. But 5 was going to do the right thing because he usually does the right thing. And you didn't trust 5 enough to do the right thing. Instead, you called the wide receiver screen. They weren't blitzing. The screen wasn't going to be effective. Just let 5 have it. Let 5 handle it. Then you run B-Rob in that incompletion, which is, I told you, those were the only 2 play calls I didn't love from Cliff the entire day. The run, the naked that Jaden kept on 3rd and goal from the 1, and the wide receiver screen after the Nick Allegretti penalty pushed us back out of field goal range. Those are the 2 play calls I hated. Then you run B-Rob. He gets a solid gain, but it gets you into the range where you're comfortable kicking a field goal again at 36, makes it a 54-yarder. But it's Greg Joseph, man. And somebody said something to me very impactful earlier today in the comment section of the video I uploaded yesterday, or it might have been 2 days ago. And they said, a wise man once told me, never, ever trust a man with 2 first names. And here we are sitting here trusting a guy named Greg Joseph. And I said, you know what? Touche. I've taught you well, Grasshopper. My job here is done. You don't need me anymore. You guys get it now. And as he was lining up, 2-minute warning hit, come on the other side. As he's lining up the kick, I said, I thought about that comment that person left. And I said, this is the time where Greg Joseph is going to be Greg Joseph. And of course, Tyler Ott, we got to start talking about Tyler Ott because that's the second time we've been in a critical situation and he's had a shitty snap. That's the second time this season we've had a critical situation and he's given us some of the worst snaps we've seen. That ball was on the ground. And we talk about Tress and all of the things he does in the kicking game. How about Tress Way the holder? He's Hall of Fame in that department. Because that ball was down and it was ready to be kicked. And then Greg Broseph just missed. That thing never had a shot. It was right, stayed right. It was always going to be wrong. And I said, well, you know what this means, right? And I was proud of DQ for not bitching up and kicking and punting it away. But I said, you do know what this means, right? You do know that they're going to score now, right? Because we've just given them the ball basically at midfield. You do understand that there are repercussions and consequences to the actions that have just taken place. And I think everybody watching at home understood what was about to transpire. Now, the question was, are we going to lose this game because of it? I never thought this game was going into overtime because he did the right thing. Darren Rizzi did the right thing. The same thing I told DQ he should have done against Dallas 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Go for 2. That's what you do in that situation. I'm not here to tie the game up and go to overtime. You're the better team. Why would I want to go to overtime? Why? That day we played Dallas. Dallas was better than us. Why would you want to play more football? It's not going to benefit us. Go for 2. They ran it down our throats on that drive with Kendre Miller. Literally. Spencer Rattler didn't do anything on that drive other than the 4th down. And he did a really good job of finding Foster Moreau, who, late released. I told y'all that's called a tight end delay, right? You release late, you stay in, you chip, you release late, give your quarterback that 5th eligible. And he made himself available and caught the football, got the 1st down. But that was the Kendre Miller drive. I mean, he had 4 runs, probably totaling every bit of 38 yards on that drive. Maybe more. Like, what are we doing? Are we just not going to stop Kendre Miller? We're just going to let him run him all the way down into the end zone, or what? What are we going to do? We're not going to show any resistance there. And all you defo stands out there, stand up. All you defo stands, stand up. I'm talking to your ass right now. Everybody else, sit down. Defo stands, stand up. Your man's got in the game, and he showed his ass today. Knocking his teammate out of the game, getting beat on the touchdown pass to Foster Moreau. He was ass. Y'all been asking for him. You want to know why he won't in? That's why he wasn't in. Anyway, y'all can sit back down now. So, Defoe gets beat on the touchdown to Foster Moreau, and I'm like, yeah, that was ass coverage, Defoe. Thanks for nothing. And if they would have just dropped Spencer Rattler back in a traditional gun, he would have scored and we would have lost. But I love when teams that aren't my team run that half boot and that sprint out, cutting the field in half. I love when they do that. It's the dumbest thing ever. And once they did that, I said, we're going to win this game. We're going to win. And as soon as I started seeing him sprint to his right, I was like, thank you, Jesus. My prayers were answered today. And I knew it was going to be incomplete at that point. Those plays work. I'd say 10% of the time, 100% of the time. I don't know why teams do it, but I'm glad they did it. Because if they'd just left Rattler in the pocket, we would have dropped back into some soft garbage zone. Somebody would have either uncovered or he would have been able to run up and get into the end zone, dive, and get the touchdown. But by rolling him out, you took away any of that, and you gave us a chance to win. Whew. Thank you, Saints. There was a lot of bad in this game, but there were also some really good things that were done. And unfortunately, a lot of the bad is going to overshadow the good that was done today. But here's the beauty of what transpired today. We got our 9th win of the season. And we are 1 away from double figures. And I've already told you that I feel like the magic number is 10. And so, feeling really good about where we are. And I told you this yesterday. If you look at our losses, a lot of them are in situations just like the one today. Games that we should have, could have, won, but we made mistakes. We're a young team. We're a young team. And shit's going to happen, right? I'd love to sit here and tell you that we're not going to drop interceptions, and that we're not going to drop touchdown passes, or the quarterback's not going to miss an open receiver for a touchdown, or the officials aren't going to impact the game negatively for us. But that's false. I'd be lying to you if I told you that. I'd be lying to you if I said you may have some very untimely penalties that negate big plays that put you in a position to win. I'd be lying to you if I said the field goal kicking game is going to be just fine and we're going to be sparkling in that department. I'd be lying to you. We're trying to figure all of this shit out on the fly in year 1 of a recalibration. And shit happens in a year 1 of a recalibration. Normally, the shit that happens in year 1 of a recalibration ain't this shit that we see right now, 9-5. That's not normal for what a team coming in and a whole organization overhaul. That's not what happens in the first year of that normally. But here we sit, practically 1 game away from the postseason. Because we won. We did not lose. We won. But boy, we made it challenging today. Did we ever? I'll tell you this too. Jaden's got to stop. 8 sacks today is unbelievable, and it's ridiculous. So Chase Young had 2 sacks today, which pissed me off. He didn't deserve either one of them, right? Especially not the second one, where you're just like, Jaden, bro, just step up. You have to stop dropping back at some point. There needs to be a pocket established. The tackles cannot establish said pocket if you keep drifting backwards. At some point, you must step up so they can push these edge rushers around. And he just kept drifting and drifting. I'm like, bro, step up. And he didn't, and he got sacked. And then I think I'm just going to chalk this up to, bro, you're just going to have to address this in the offseason, because clearly either nobody in the building has said anything to him or he's just not aware. And I find it hard to believe that either of these things have occurred, that he just isn't aware of his surroundings or they haven't said something to him. I'm thinking maybe he doesn't want to affect his completion percentage or something. And that's so vain, and I can't believe that that's the reason why he refuses to throw the ball away. But you have to stop running out of bounds, parallel to the line of scrimmage or behind it. Okay, at least 3 of the sacks today were of that variety, where you go, bro, what are we doing? You have to stop doing that. Please stop doing that, right? So we got to clean that shit up. He killed some field position today. He killed a drive or 2 doing that shit where you just go, hey, bro, stop taking these. Like, there was a sack he took. I want to say it was to Cam Jordan. And you're like, bro, we did a great job we started that drive at our own, 4-yard line. Crowder Fair caught it at our own. And we drove that thing all the way damn near the midfield. And he takes a 16-yard sack. And I'm like, bro, you just killed the field position thing we were doing. Why did you do that? Don't take that sack. Throw the bitch away. Well, he was almost at 80% again, right? Don't want to mess up that average. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of as to why he keeps doing this, because it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, we won. For those of you who are doomers and gloomers in the comment section, I haven't looked at the comment section yet, so I don't know if there's a bunch of that going on right now. But we won. Just in case you need a reminder, celebrate. We're 9-5. We're not 8-6. We were this close. But as a wise woman once told me, almost doesn't count. Almost doesn't count. So, with that said, we're going to get to the comment section. I got to address the two Terry misses, the other two, because I didn't. I skipped right over them. But the offense had another opportunity after they got the field goal to go up 20-13. The Saints blow coverage, and Terry inexplicably stops. Then runs. And if he would have just kept going, that ball would have been on the money, and he would have walked in the end zone. Juggles it 3 times, drops it. And for the game that Terry was having, 7 catches, 73 yards, 2 touchdowns, he could have had a career day today. He should have had 4 touchdowns, over 200 yards receiving. This was supposed to be his moment. And he and Jaden screwed it up. He and Jaden together screwed the pooch. For as good as they were in the first half, they were equally as destructive in the second half together. Then the third one, Jaden overcompensates because in his mind, I just overthrew him twice. So I'm going to take some off this time. So he underthrows him. He had the corner beat. Did that corner ever stop to turn and locate the football? No. Did that corner get there early? Yeah, he did. Did he swipe at Terry's hands before the ball even got there? Yeah, you betcha. Was there a flag? No flag. How? Why? Explain yourself. I need answers. With the horrendous calls on personal fouls, I cannot believe that there's no flag here. But it was that kind of day. And then how about Benjamin St. Juste? We're getting off the field on a 3rd down. This bastard comes in for 1 snap. He can't even come in and behave himself for 1 snap. We get a sack to end the drive, and he has hands to the face. Get out of the game. Don't even look at me. Get out. Take your helmet off. You're done for the day. He's a disgrace. I can't with him anymore. Like, he has become a walking punchline at this point. 1 play, bro. We try to give you a little run, and you can't behave yourself for 1 play. Almost cost us the game. They went down and got a field goal because of that. We won. Just remind yourself that we won. We won. Anyway, I digress. We won. Why did it have to be this stressful? It didn't have to be, but we won. We're going to go ahead and get a word from one of our sponsors. But before we do that, I got a word myself. Public service announcement. Let's make it happen. What's going on? It's your man Louie Tee here with a public service announcement. We're sunning and funning in June. That's right. We're heading to the DR, Punta Cana, all-inclusive resort, June 26th through the 30th. And I want you to be a part of the fun. All of the information you need is right here on this screen in front of you. Any extra added information that you need can be found in a video that's attached to the description of this video and any video that you see this promo in. Also, if you need further information or you just want clarification on something, feel free to email me, LouieTeeNetwork@gmail.com. June 26th through the 30th, we're heading to the DR and we're going to have a blast. And I'm going to make sure this is a time you won't forget. And a lot of the things we do on this trip, we will not repeat again on future trips. So you don't want to miss this trip. You need to be 21 years of age or older to attend, and you also need to have a passport. That is important as well. Also, take advantage of this holiday special we have on the registration fee. Knock $50 off of the registration fee. And then if you're a member of the mob, knock an additional percentage off of that good through the end of this year. So you don't want to miss out. Take advantage of it while that offer still lasts. So any questions, hit me up. We're going to the DR. We're sunning and funning, and I want you to be a part of the fun. Come join your man Louie Tee as we turn up in the DR.
Inside the odds.
So, looking for a new book this season, BetUS has you covered. Fastest payouts in the industry. Get up to 10% back on your net losses twice a year as long as you've been active the previous 6 months. And here's the big kicker for brand new users. Here's a kicker. 150% sign-up bonus. When you use the promo code YouTube150, get 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. 125% on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000 when you use that promo code YouTube150. So the Commanders, as you can see, were initially 7.5-point favorites. This thing got up to 9 before kickoff. Okay, so this is not even accurate. That number got up to as high as 9 before kickoff. We haven't fared well when the odds makers put faith in us in that capacity. We remember we were 10-point favorites against Dallas. How'd that work out for us? I told you guys yesterday, I'm not comfortable with being this high of a favorite. We don't usually cover. We had our opportunities to win this game going away and cover the spread and have this not be a nail biter. We had our chances. Terry should have had 16 touchdowns today. Jaden could have had over 900 yards passing, but they didn't want it, right? They didn't want it. So instead, this thing had to be a lot closer than it needed to be. But so clearly we did not cover. And the point total was 43. I would have taken the over. I thought by ourselves we were going to score damn near 30. We should have. If you look at the missed opportunities, we should have scored 34 points. Just thinking about the 2 touchdowns, right, that were missed. But we didn't. We scored 20, and the Saints scored 19. And so I would have taken the over. 43 was way too low. Unless the Saints weren't coming to the party, which with Jake Haener didn't feel like they were coming to the party. So even if we would have scored 30, I don't know if they would have scored 13. But Rattler came in. He started shaking and moving. And next thing you know, we were in a fight for our lives. So unfortunate that we didn't cover the spread, but we won. That's more important than covering the damn spread, if you ask me. So I digress. So let's get to the comment section. I played a little promo for the DR trip. I'm going to be pushing the hell out of it. So brace yourselves. We're looking to have some fun in the sun, going to the DR. And I want you guys to come along. We're going to have some fun. We're going to turn up. And the sooner you register and you got a chance to take advantage of a holiday special now until the end of the year, take advantage of that so that you can start the process of paying. I don't want you to have to pay for the entire trip all at once. So the sooner you register, the faster you can get in there and start making payments. So it's not as much of a burden towards the end. But 21 years of age and older have to have a passport. And we're going to have some fun and turn up. I think I got another announcement coming down the pipeline. And so hopefully all of these things will kind of coincide with one another. But let's get to the comment section, see what you guys are talking about. And let me see if we already had some. It felt like we had some comments before the ones that I'm looking at right now. All right. I don't see anything. So GT7. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. GT7 writes, hey, Louie. Hope all is well. Likewise with you. A win is a win, but as soon as I saw no Tyler Biadasz or Tyler Badass, I said to myself, this isn't going to be good. Or this ain't going to be good. And why the hell was 22 and 25 on the damn field? 22 was on the same on the field at the same time as Chin. Quan Martin got hurt. Is what I was told. Remember, Quan was dealing with a couple of injuries, but the shoulder was the biggest culprit. And I'm assuming that he banged it up again. I don't know. I don't know what happened to Quan. I just know he didn't finish, as far as I'm concerned. So we saw a lot of 22. And I just wanted to make sure that all of those 22 fans out there, those stands for Defoe, are in attendance and speaking up. Don't try to hide now. Don't lower your voice. Speak up. Say it with your chest, because your man was asked today. Not having Biotish was a big deal. I thought more so in the run game than anything else. But we had plenty of opportunities to win this thing comfortably without him, But again, it's another teachable moment for a young team trying to figure out what winning looks like on a consistent basis. And look, we won, but you'd like to be cleaner in that situation. The opportunities, like I talk about the fine line in this league between winning and losing, being an elite quarterback and not being one is, one of those metrics is you got to hit those deep balls. You don't get those opportunities in this league very often with guys running open. You got to hit those. And Jaden did not hit those today. And he's been hitting those this season. So that was really disappointing to see. So anyway, I digress. Mr. Ron B, I'm just glad with Biotish it's nothing serious, right? Like he didn't feel well, so the illness knocked him out. But you would assume he'll be ready to go for next week. I'm more concerned about Ertz, with his concussion. He's out for next week. He's not going to play against his former team. And he's such a big part of this offense. You can say what you want, but he's our second leading receiver. So now your second leading receiver and your third leading receiver are going to be out for the foreseeable future. We saw him get up and he was pretty damn woozy. So KJ Osborne, you're up. And we're going to need you. You're up. And looks like we're going to have that fourth tight end is going to have to be up next week. Colson Yankoff. So, yeah, we reaching deep in the bag now. Mr. Ron B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Mr. Ron B, OG, triple OG, writes, bringing back home the dub as instructed, but woo is right. But you guys got the job done. And I heard that there were a ton of Commanders fans in Nolans for this game, but it was very quiet, peaceful and serene on television. It didn't sound like a, raucous Commander environment. It sounded very sterile. So I don't really know how to take that, because when we were in Arizona, it sounded like we were represented well in that game. Did not sound like it on television. It sounded very peaceful and serene and tranquil, like you could take a nap. But you guys brought it home. You brought home the dub, like you said, as instructed, and I'm proud of y'all for going in enemy territory, infiltrating and extracting the dub, and bringing it back home where it belongs. So really appreciate y'all for getting it done. JP, John Perez, been a member for 10 months. Appreciate you, writes, holy hell, Lou. Yeah, holy hell is right, JP. I don't know how we came out of that one alive. I do. We were the better team. We deserved to win. That doesn't always work out that way, but I never thought we were going to lose the game. I just thought we were going to go through what we just went through. Like, I never once was like, well, we're going to lose this game. Never went to that. And I can go there, right? I never went there. I knew we were going to be in this position, though. Once you saw the missed opportunities with Terry and you said, look, you can't leave this up to the defense. We've talked about this. I'm not going to go through the gauntlet of games in which the defense has left us standing at the winning altar, having to fend for ourselves. So I'm not going to go. I've done that so many times this year. So you guys already know the whole spiel that I've gone through. So you already know now this is our move. This is our move. So for us to do what we did, I'm not surprised, but I never thought we were going to lose. But yeah, it's too close for comfort. That's for sure. Once Rattler came in, I got nervous. I think everybody in the mob was like, oh shit, here we go. We were up 17-0 at that time. But it sucked that it took us that first possession to wake up, like, so to speak. When I say wake up, I meant like even the coaching staff. I told you what they did on a 2nd and 10 holding penalty. Like they declined the shit because they still was treating them like Jake Hayner was in, because he was awful, And so they was just like, oh yeah, they can't get 10 yards, but Rattler can. And he said, game should have been over, but the offense goes invisible. Penalties nearly cost us also, but I'll take the dub. The penalties hurt us, and the missed opportunities hurt worse, because we can sit here and blame the officials all day, but the officials didn't throw a flag when Terry was wide open for a walk-in touchdown and Jaden overshot him by a yard. The officials didn't throw a penalty when Terry was streaking up the sideline on a busted coverage and would have walked in the end zone for a touchdown, and Terry stopped and then couldn't get back to the football, right? The officials should have thrown a flag, but they didn't when Terry had beaten the defender and Jaden underthrew him. But it still should have resulted in a big play and a potential opportunity to score a touchdown, and they didn't throw the flag. So we put ourselves in, and Frankie Louvu had a chance to pick a pass off. So did Mike Sainristil, that would have ended drives that resulted in field goals for the Saints. So we had opportunities to end drives without points being scored, and we did not do so. So we made the mistakes and allowed the Saints to be within striking distance, and you all knew that the defense wasn't going to stop them from scoring a touchdown there. The question was, could they stop them from getting the 2-point conversion to preserve the victory? They were able to do that, and we caught a break. And I think if they had a better play call, we might have lost the game. But they didn't have a good play call, and thank goodness for that. Alex Kurz, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Alex writes, there was nothing wrong with my over bet. Terry should have had a career game. I feel worse today. Keep it pushing. I could feel worse today. Yeah. We could all feel worse. Trust me. It doesn't feel as good as it should. I liken it to the win over Carolina, where we were excited, but we weren't as excited as we should have been because Jaden had gotten injured and we didn't know the severity of it. This feels like that. The Bears game would have felt like this too, but we won it on a historic play. And so all that other stuff kind of just got swept under the rug. But it could have been worse, to your point. Should have been easier victory. Terry could have had a much bigger day. Should have had a much bigger day. Terry could have had 4 touchdowns today and 237 yards receiving, which would have been a career high for him. And we would have been talking about Terry not only getting to 1,000 today, but we would have been talking about Terry getting to 1,100 today and having that chance to get to 13, which is the number that I had set for him. And he would have busted up. We talked about 12 touchdowns. He would have been at 13 after today if the plays would have gone the way that they should have. He'd have been at 13. We had 4 touchdowns today. And then we could have started having the all-pro discussion. Like, you scored 4 touchdowns today, you got a chance to lead the NFL in touchdown receptions, because then you would have been knocking on the door of Jamar Chase. Didn't feel like it was even plausible to catch him. You get 4 today and get to 13. Jamar Chase is at 15. Now we start talking reckless about not only catching him, but now you're getting in the rarefied air, because those 2 big plays, I talked about Terry averaging, up over 16, 17 yards per reception. He had a chance to do that today. He had a chance to take that average and push it up to 18. And godly, that's frustrating. Dr. B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. And the crazy part is, those were 2 of Jaden's easier throws. Clean pocket, open receiver. The 2 touchdowns he threw to Terry were tough throws and even tougher catches. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Dr. B writes, a win is a win, but boy, we better wake up fast. Yeah. Well said. Well said. CJ Shoots Photo. Been a member for 39 months. Salute. Who writes, our inept ability to finish off games in the second half. I've already told you this fourth quarter defense is atrocious. And it may get better. It may get better. But because of Marshawn Lattimore and his ability to take away a side of the field, it could get better. But it's a problem. It's a real problem. It really, truly is. And the offense had a chance to do what it's done very effectively, I may add, which is end games on offense. They had a chance. They've done a really good job of that this season. They knew it in this game. That was unfortunate. Penalties got us. Because they almost did. If that De'Ami Brown catch counts without the holding penalty, the offense would have effectively done what they needed to do to preserve the victory. But that penalty, which I didn't love the call, but that kind of killed the drive, right? Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Metaphor writes, played with our food through to dessert. JD decisions, Terry with those drops, Fowler effed by the refs all day. DQ needed to go for it on 4th and 9. No 54-yard field goal. I didn't have an issue with him. Like, this is why you signed the kicker. 54-yard kick in the NFL is nothing these days. I signed you for a reason. Go out and do your job. I don't have any issues with DQ sending the kicker out there. 4th and 9 is a low percentage play. You don't go for it. Either you were punting or you were kicking the field goal. Going for it on 4th and 9 was not optional. And that's not the play there. Either you're punting the football or you're kicking the field goal. I thought he did the right thing. I have no issues, no qualms whatsoever with him electing to kick the 54-yard field goal. That's why we signed you. If you can't do your job, then you don't need to be here. Which I'm pretty sure now Greg Joseph's on borrowed time. He had a chance to really push Zane Gonzalez because we still got 2 more weeks of this shit. Alter Seibert is out for at least 2 more games. We still got 2 more weeks of this kicking shit. But we don't know the severity of Zane Gonzalez's injury, but he had a chance to stiff arm Zane Gonzalez and keep him at bay. But looks like Greg Joseph might be back on the streets. He just might be back on the streets. Just obviously it depends on Zane Gonzalez's health and how significant that foot injury is. But if he's good next week, I would assume that Zane Gonzalez would get the nod next week against Philadelphia. That'd be my guess. JD's decisions, I didn't have any issue. I hated the sacks, if that's what you're talking about. But I didn't think he made any poor decisions today. Just the sacks that he took were really bad, right? And then Terry, again, I don't call those drops by Terry. Like, he slowed down on one, and it's not like he had it in both hands and shook. Like, he got one hand on it and almost caught it. But him slowing down is what caused that play to not work. That's what you can beat him up for. And then the first one, that's on Jaden. That's not on Terry. That's not a drop. Like, you got to be careful there. Like, people hear you say Terry had drops there, you would think that he was wide open, blatant drop, perfect pass, and he didn't catch it. That's not what transpired. Would I like him to catch those? Yeah. But he didn't. We definitely play with our food. And that's what you get when you play with your food. We lucky that we didn't choke. We lucky we didn't choke. Because we definitely played with our food. Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Swaggy P writes, man, I was so stressed I couldn't even eat my chicken wings. It's a damn shame when you get to the point where you can't even consume food. I'm not an in-game eater. I'm too nervous to eat during the game. I drink water. That's it. So I'm always a nervous wreck. So eating isn't even something that I can do during a game normally. Refs didn't help us, and with the clock stopping at the end, should have been a blowout. Need to be way better to have a chance next week on the Philly. #HTTC. Yeah. People kept bringing up Philadelphia in the chat, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about the Eagles for? Let's win this game first. And we can talk. We got all next week to talk about Philadelphia. Let's win this one first. And that almost didn't happen. Do you understand just how miserable we would have been had we lost this game? Do you know the difference between 9-5 and 8-6? You may not be as pleased with how the outcome was achieved, but you bet your ass you're excited about the fact that we won instead of we lost. So we'll figure, like, the good thing is, like, just because we didn't play great this week doesn't mean we're gonna play the same way next week. You know, the things just happen the way that they happen in this game, but we won. You learn from those mistakes, you move on, and you hope to be better next week. Clearly, if you're not, you won't win. But glad we came away with the dub. Definitely on the Philly, man. John Perez, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy JP writes, feels like I haven't caught a live show for a while. Even though we're 9-5, we still don't have enough talent yet. We need wide receiver, DN, and offensive tackle without question. I'd still put offensive tackle, and I've said this already, and some people didn't agree with me, and that's fine. I'd put left tackle as our biggest need next year in the draft. Now, will they see it the same way? I would be open to the idea of moving Brandon Coleman to right tackle and having him try that out. But obviously that's an off-season switch, and he'd have to, you know, retool his mechanics, different side of his body, all that good stuff. But to me, he's not what you're looking for at left tackle. I don't think, at least. I really think he's a guard, to be honest with you. So I think we need a left tackle above all else. Protect your investment. As much as we want a new shiny toy at receiver or edge rusher, you know, or another dynamic corner, and all these things are pretty high on the priority list, nothing supersedes protecting JD5. And to me, if you can get yourself a bona fide bookend tackle, do that, right? Do that. Layla Brown, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Layla writes, Louie, Lord, this team makes my blood boil. Oh, no. Yeah, this team is definitely, look, somebody in the chat, in the mob chat said, oh, we can never make things easy. And I'm like, that's false. They've made it easy on us this year, a lot more so than past years, right? Every win used to feel like this. Every single one. We never used to blow teams out. Every win felt like this. They've done a really good job of sparing us from this feeling a lot this season. But even still, we're 4-4, and we were 4-4 in one-score games. We're now 5-4. So that's a good sign that we're finding ways to win. Like, go look at the Chiefs, right? And all the close calls that they have. And, you know, you can look around, look at the Eagles and some of these, like, look at the good teams in the league. Look at Detroit. A lot of one-score ball games, but they find a way to win, right? That's what we did today. It wasn't pretty, and you would prefer to not be in this situation, but we found a way to win. Those are good building blocks. Winning a game like this is huge, because you need to know how to overcome adversity in situations like this. And if you're not in these situations, then it's hard for you to know how to handle yourself the next time you're in that situation. So glad they found a way to win, and hoping that they take all the lessons learned today, apply them moving forward, and we're a better team because of what we went through today. Missed opportunities, things of that nature. Next time, Terry won't stop in that zone because of what happened today. Terry will keep running, and that pass will be on the money next time, right? Like, Jaden just missed him on that first one. Like, shit happens. You don't want it to happen, but it happened, right? You'd like the officials to throw the flag when it's pass interference. You'd like them to not throw a flag when it's not, personal foul roughing the passer. But those things happen today. They did not make it easy on us at all today, though. And yes, this team definitely can stress you out for sure. Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Uh-oh. That's good, right? Yeah. Boy, what I wouldn't give to have one of those type of kickers. That was a bad snap, good hold, and he still made a damn kick. Same can't be said for us. If the operation ain't perfect, our kicker definitely ain't making a kick. None of them, it feels like right now. Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for doubling up, my guy. Swaggy P writes, now I see why Defoe hasn't been in on defense. Shaking my head. Look, I told y'all a long time ago, they're at practice every day, every single day, okay? If they thought Defoe could help this defense, they would put him in, okay? He wouldn't be a healthy scratch. They'd put him in the game. And they put him in the game today, and he validated everything that we were thinking because they wouldn't put him in. King of the Bluegrass. Been a member for 33 months, almost at that 3-year. Annie, really appreciate you. Who writes, so where do I start? Oh, yeah. Offensive line, more in the backfield than going forward. Missed opportunities, blown coverages, 8 sacks is completely ridiculous, but we won. In past years, if you would have said all of that, I guarantee you those last 3 words would not have been the closing of that statement you just made. I guarantee you, if you would have said all of those things that preceded those last 3 words about a game that we played in before, which is why I keep telling you, it feels different because it is different. That's not a win at any point for this franchise the last 12 years. But it was today. And for the most part, it has been this season, except for when we played really good opponents. A game like today gets you beat by any good team with a winning record. You play the way we played today, and you miss the opportunities, and the officials do what they did, you're going to lose to better opponents. We just happen to be playing an awful 5-8, now 5-9 New Orleans Saints team, and that's why we came out victorious. Make no mistake about it. If this was against any of the teams with winning records on our schedule that we played this season, this is a loss, including the Bears when we played them back in week 8. It's a loss. Layla Brown, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, and anytime a kicker is about to kick, my anxiety goes up. It should be through the roof. I was a big proponent of them going out and signing the serial kicker. I really feel like he would have been a better choice than any of the kickers we have. But I trusted Greg Joseph until he missed the kick before the end of the 3rd quarter. And I said, uh-oh, trust has been broken. And despite him making the kick, after the half, or after the quarter rather, I was still not 100% sold that he was going to be money when we needed him to. And of course, when we needed him to be from 54, my guy wasn't even close. So here we are again talking about, and again, this team is not good enough to give away scoring opportunities. They're not good enough to miss, point scoring up. Like, I really feel like we're going to have to address this in the offseason. Like, we're going to have to either draft a kicker, or you're going to have to be like, after it's over, kicker is going to have, like, the draft is over. kicker is going to have to be like a high priority, undrafted position. Like you got to really go after it aggressively if there's a kicker you really like. But we can't keep doing this shit. And I know a lot of people want to bring up Brandon McManus. Who's to say if he would have been good for us or not? But he's been really good for the Packers. But can't say what he would have or wouldn't have been. But look, they did what they needed to do. They did the right thing. So we gotta figure that shit out, man. It's gonna lose us a game, right? If this shit continues, it's already lost us one against Dallas. If this shit continues, it's gonna lose us another game, and it may be an even more important game. You know, I mean, that miss against Dallas is right now the reason why we're not in the divisional race still. Because I mean, the Eagles are probably gonna win today, but they're in a dogfight with the Steelers. You know, anything can happen in that game. But even because we lost to Dallas, we're still need a ton of help. We'd have to beat Philadelphia, and then we need them to lose to Dallas to even have a shot. So that's a big deal. And the kicking game is huge for a team that either we're going to blow you out or we're going to be in one of these type of games. Rob, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, "What up, Lou? What's up, Rob? I'm relieved, confused, and upset at the same time, the same damn time. This team has to learn how to put teams away when they are on the ropes. They're a young team, Rob. You got to keep that in mind. I know it's frustrating watching it and going through it and living it. It sucks. But I told y'all about this before the season started, right? I said, this is the roller coaster that I promised you that you were going to be on. I promised you would be on this roller coaster, right? Before the season, did I not? I said, I've been through this in other sports, but it doesn't change. Still a young team trying to find its way. They're going to be maddening at times. This is no different. It's exactly what I signed up for. It's exactly what I thought it would be. And it's not from what I thought it would be from a record standpoint. I didn't expect this to be this good. But the twists and the turns, the ups, the downs, the wanting to pull your hair out, that is exactly what having a young team learning how to win entails. So there'll be more of these games that drive you insane. But eventually we'll get to where we want to be. But it's going to take more of these performances and us learning how to put teams away, which is you only can do it through experience. Rob, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Vilma's comment about Chase showing us what he missed out on was laughable. I said to myself, he must not know. He's a former player, right? His job is to call games. He has no idea how bad Chase Young was here. So, and even the 2 sacks he got today were trash. Good for him. I'm glad he feels good about himself and good for him, but we don't miss him at all. Not one bit. Not one iota do we miss Chase Young. Good for him. But yes, he clearly did not know. And when he was saying it, I was like, hey, Vilma! Come up off that, bro. Trust me. You barking up the wrong tree with that one. All right? You're completely missing the mark. Just leave it alone. 28, the great, no debate. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, bro, I came to New Orleans for this game. Lou, we had that stadium and the city burgundy and gold out, but I lost another 10 years off my life. But we got to win, so let me enjoy their food and talk my shit. Yes, you went all that way, and you did not leave empty-handed. You brought that dub home like you were supposed to. It didn't come as easy as it should have, but you got it. So enjoy the food, enjoy the environment, talk your shit, and bring that dub home, man. We waiting on you. Hell of a job. Going Commando. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Going Commando writes, man, Lou, bad taste in my mouth, but a dub makes for a good mouthwash. Boy, don't it? I ain't gonna hold you. Our breath was a little funky in the fourth quarter. A lot of y'all, I had to close your mouth, letting a lot of air in there. All right, real funky, right? For the rest of y'all, your shit was shut. You were speechless. And then you were trapping all the funk in there. But you know what a win does? Puts a little mouthwash in there. Swish it around. Spit out that nasty losing taste that you thought you were going to have. And get that minty fresh victory smell. All quiet on the Lattimore front, as it should be. Shh. Be very, very quiet. That's how we like it over there. That's the way, we like it. That's the way, we like it. But Tyler Badass and his absence was felt. I've said this a lot of times. You truly figure out how much a guy means to a team when he is not there versus when he is there. You sometimes don't take him, you don't appreciate him the way you should. You take him for granted. Biotish has been outstanding this year. I said he's been better than Cosme, if you ask me. He's the one that deserves a Pro Bowl nod. Cosme will probably be the one to get it because his name is a household name. But everybody that knows, that watches, knows that Biotish probably is the heart and soul of the offensive line. Hard for me to put blame on B-Rob with those holes. Yeah, there weren't too many of them. I'll say. I didn't think B-Rob had his best day being decisive, getting downhill. Again, B-Rob is not at his best when he's going this way. He needs to be going that way. And it felt like a lot of runs making him go this way, and we just weren't good enough sustaining blocks to make those runs work. But I digress. Rob, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Might have been triple up. But he says, JD, just throw the ball away. Unnecessary sacks. Man, somebody's got to sit that young fella down and explain to him the value of not. Now, again, a lot of times he's getting back to the line of scrimmage and it ends up being 2nd and 10. But you could have done all of that, save yourself running for 5 to 10 yards, and you don't give up the sack. That's the most important thing, is you don't put a sack on the ledger of your offensive line. Like when we go through our stats next week, we're going to be bottom half in the league in sacks given up because you decided to take 4 sacks running out of bounds. Where's the psychological sense in that? Just throw the ball away. Again, instead of you being 25 of 31, you're 25 of 35. I know that sucks on the completion percentage front, but I'm pretty sure your offensive line would like to see 4 sacks not given up because you ran parallel to the line of scrimmage or behind it with the ball still in your hands. Shadow Striker 789. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, we for real could have seen 204 from Terry today. Facts. It should have been. That's the thing. Like, we'll be disappointed about how everything turned out. I'm more disappointed in the fact that Terry didn't get what was coming to him today. He played too well in the first half to have the second half go the way that it did. He was supposed to have a career day today. That was supposed to happen. And this would have set the groundwork for an all-pro bid, right? We could have started the campaign at 4:15 today. Hell, we could have started that bitch at 3:45 if he would have caught those 2 touchdown passes. Instead, we sitting here on a 7-catch, 73-yard, 2 touchdown performance instead of a 10-catch, 237-yard, 4 touchdown performance. I would venture to say, I can't confirm this, no receiver this season has had a 4 touchdown reception game. I know receivers have had 3. I know I can think of 3 or 4 off the top of my dome that had 3. Hell, I want to say Justin Jefferson or Addison had 3 last week, if I'm not mistaken. One of the 2, because your boy threw 5, and all of them were to those 2. I know Jamar Chase had 3 touchdowns against Baltimore on a what was that, a Thursday night when he lit them up. Ain't nobody had 4 this year. Not that I can remember. I could be wrong about that. Ain't nobody had 4. And Terry had a chance to do that. That's the shit that bothers me. That's the shit that's stuck in my craw. Jake Fleming. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, cardiac commanders strike again. Almost sending y'all into cardiac arrest. Really impressed with 23 today. Neither quarterback for the Saints wanted to target his side because they know who he is, right? That's not going to be every week where teams just don't throw at him. But generally speaking, they already knew. I don't know if you saw Cam Jordan, the Saints' longtime defensive end, who said, oh, is 23 playing this week? Is that a thing? Is he really playing? He said, man, he had to come back against us. That's crazy. Like, they already know, right? They already know. He says, can't miss the knockout punches versus Philly or we will lose. Please draft a kicker. I think they're going to do that. I think they're going to get him a kicker. They understand the value of that position. Adam Peters was in San Francisco when they drafted Jake Moody. I want to say they drafted Jake Moody in the 3rd round, like, which I would not recommend you do. I am not a big proponent of spending picks rounds 1 through 4 on a kicker. 5th round and later, knock yourself out. Do whatever you want to do. But he understands the value of a kicker, which is why they drafted a kicker in San Francisco. So I think they're going to do something this offseason for sure. And I just love that we got one of them corners, man. One of those dudes that can affect the game. They didn't even try to go that way. That's beautiful. JC2 Fly. Now, understand that other teams in the division and they're not going to necessarily approach it that way, which might be to our benefit. He might be able to make a play. It was so dope to see a dude just come up and get in somebody's face at the line of scrimmage and not play 7 yards off. Just about every single time they got into a critical 3rd down situation, he would come up and press. He would come up and he would be right there. Right there. And I'm like, I love that shit. Because normally we give up the easy completions. Because we don't want to get beat over the top. That just felt good. JC2 Fly. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, went to the game, Lou. So many Washington fans. And you're like the 5th person that's told me that. I had 3 people tell me before the game today, over the weekend, hey, they got all kinds of like Commanders parties, pregame parties and different things. And it was lit and the city was on fire. And that so many Commanders fans were there. And we just couldn't tell on television. That's all. We couldn't hear y'all. But that don't mean y'all wasn't there. And I heard from at least like 5 or 6 of y'all throughout the course of the day that, hey, we had it lit. So I love it. I love it. And y'all brought home the dub. That's the most important part. Ethan Dykes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Ethan Dykes writes, underrated need this offseason. Long snapper. Shades of the Dallas game. Frustrating as hell. This team has been hot and cold all year. Clean it up. They signed Tyler Ott to, I think, a 3-year deal. They're not going to do anything at long snapper. And I don't think they necessarily need to. He just got to get his shit together. He's a good long snapper. He's been a good long snapper for a very long time in this league. Just do your job, right? Just do your job. That's it. I think he's a good long snapper, and I don't expect us to continue to have issues with him. But even with that said, Tress got him down both times. Tress got him down. He always gets it down. Just make the goddamn kick. Just make the kick. Ricky D. Hustle. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Ricky D. writes, what up, Lou? What's up, Rick? Went to the game and got the win, but we dominated in a lackluster effort, at least the end. Still struggled for the big play on offense or defense. Win is a win. Hashtag ACCC. Yeah, this shit should have been over, man. And the frustrating part about this game is that it didn't have to be this way, but this isn't the first time we've done this year. And that's the part that's frustrating, right? Is we've done this at least two other times. At least two other times. And we should have lost both. We did lose one. We should have lost the other one, but had a miracle Hail Mary finish. And you pull this one out, but you can't keep living like this. And at some point, you got to get out of your own way, right? At some point, you got to get out of your own way. Luckily, we can clean this stuff up with a win and a smile, but that's not always going to be the case. Ethan Dykes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Ethan Dykes writes, Jaden got to clean up the deep balls and scrambles. He ran into some sacks today. Also, Ridgeway and Young revenge games almost complete. O-line is sus. Yeah, he ran into some sacks, but for every play you could complain about him running into a sack, he made plays with his legs and his arm today. We don't win this game without him. It's real simple. He had the long third down scramble that set us up for a field goal that ultimately proved to be the game-winning field goal. We didn't know at the time, but it was. He had the fourth down, conversion. We didn't score on that possession, but we should have, right? That should have been a fourth down conversion that led to us winning the game. And that was not an easy fourth down conversion. He had to go make it happen. And he made some crazy plays. The first touchdown throw, that's a drive that should have ended in a field goal. After all the dumb shit we did, he was a part of it, putting the ball out there and having it knocked out of his hand. But when it's all said and done, he made up for it with a crazy Lamar Jackson-esque play for the touchdown to Terry. Without 5, we're not even having a conversation about winning the game. We could have won it going away, and he could have been better in certain situations, but Ridgeway played well. Young had 2 sacks, but they walked away with the L, which is all I care about. And the O-line is sus, but we weren't at full strength today, obviously. And I already told you how I feel about Brandon Coleman, so it is what it is. Daily Grind. Been a member for 39 months. Salute to you, who writes, Lou, my guy, I keep having to remind myself it's still year 1. It's hard to do that when you start 7-2 and you see the opportunities in front of you. It's hard to remind yourself of that. But every now and again, you got to take a step back and keep it in its proper perspective, which is what I talked about at the top of the show. You got to keep it in its proper perspective. This is year 1. It's easy to get frustrated that we don't have this and we don't have that. We're not supposed to have those things. We turned over 60% of this roster. You weren't going to have all of those things in year 1. And yet we've made do with what we have, and we're sitting here at 9-5, and we're probably 1 win away from clinching a berth to the postseason in year 1. We're 2 wins away from doing something we haven't done in over 3 decades. You got to take a step back. It's frustrating. It's maddening sometimes, but you got to be able to take a step back and acknowledge where we are in the process and how we've overachieved to this point. He says, I want to just be in the conversation so bad with other good teams. Honestly, we aren't there yet. I expected nothing less than 40. No, we're not there yet. But the fact that you expected 40 today with what we have around Jaden Daniels speaks to the coaching staff, speaks to Jaden Daniels, speaks to the level at which they're playing, that you expected a 40-piece today. With no Noah Brown, with no KJ Osborne, with Luke McCaffrey and De'Ami Brown and Jamison Crowder and Olamide Zaccheaus, and then early exit from Zach Ertz, and the goal was still, hey, put up 40 on these boys. And it could have been, I don't think we were ever getting 40 today, but we could have put up 30. It should have been 34 points scored today, 31 points scored today, something along those lines. Yeah, we're not there yet. And it's okay. As bad as we all want to be there, it's okay. Elf Life. Been a member for 6 months. Really appreciate you. Writes, Should have listened to you about Defoe, old head. Look, man, those who don't hear feel, but it's okay, right? It's okay. Things happen. Going Commando, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Coleman getting worked by the first round bus was disheartening. Nice to see Darren Payne stepping up. You wrong for that. Want to drag no leg Greg, but we knew his limit. Yeah, it was unfortunate that we even put him in that position. You know, I would have been more pissed off if he didn't make the kick at the end of the third into the fourth than the one he missed from 54. He shouldn't have been in that position. But hey, a 54-yarder is a kick that we expect guys to make in today's NFL. And he needs to make the kick, and he didn't. Ricky D. Hustle, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Ricky D. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, the last 4 passes were the same play over and over again, right in front of me. And our fans show up for the team, and they almost let us down. Hashtag HTTC. But they didn't. But they didn't let you down. They almost did, but they didn't. So feel good about that. C. Dunphy, 457. So are you saying the Saints ran the same play 4 times in a row, or the Commanders ran the same play 4 times in a row? What are you saying? My guess would be the Saints ran the same play 4 times in a row, and they almost got us, right? If that is in fact the case. Just checking out these games. Josh Allen looked like he's doing MVP type things. Eagles look like they about to put flag. So that ain't gonna count anyway. C. Dunphy, 457. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, you're great at this. Thanks. No, thank you for supporting. All right. I really appreciate you, C. Dunphy. Really appreciate you. Chris, 412. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Chris writes, if Ertz is hurt, we need OBJ. I mean, I was open to trying to sign him anyway. I mean, OBJ doesn't play tight end, right? But the more targets you can get, the better for this offense. I firmly believe that. And so I'm a huge proponent of more is better than less. So I would be open to exploring that. A lot of people think he's washed, and that may be the case. And that's why I said bring him in for a workout and see for yourself if you're watched. And you got a chance on Tuesday. Bring him in. See if he can provide anything. If you think he's washed, don't sign him. If you think he can provide you with something, sign him. And maybe he can finish this season up. Did Bo Nix just throw his 3rd pick of the day? I think Bo Nix just threw a 3rd pick of the day. Let's put this offensive rookie of the year thing to rest. Now, get it over with. Jaden could have done that today had he taken care of business. Rush is variety. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Rush is variety. Writes. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes. Only have a free minute, but an ugly dub is still a dub. Facts. Again, this ain't college. You don't get any style points for this. Just win the game. And that's what we did today. So I'm not tripping. And neither should any of you. Like, you hate that. Good job. You hate that it's come to this, but this is where we at. Just take it and be happy that we're talking about 9-5 and not 8-6. That's the biggest thing. Because Tampa Bay look like they trying to go on the road and win. And, you know, the Rams continue to win. Like, we just can't leave it to chance. See if the Eagles make this field goal. And he made it. Twin D, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Twin D, writes, hey, LT, what's going on, Twin D? Dropping by to say that I followed orders and brought home the dub. Man, man, it was tense in there at the end. I bet it was. My girl couldn't even watch it. We both held our breath when Rattler came in. fearing exactly what happened. All of us at home did the same thing. Not necessarily like, oh, he's going to lead them to a victory, but we were like, well, this just went from this is going to be a breeze to this could get pretty interesting if the offense doesn't continue to score. And that's why I wasn't as concerned, because I just thought the offense would continue to move the ball and we'd continue to like just keep them at arm's length, right? Like I just thought we'd do enough to keep them away from, you know, making this thing as interesting. And the offense tried. Cliff called up the plays to make it happen. He made it so, and we didn't take advantage, right? So that's the part that's really frustrating. But oh, I bet them Saints fans came to life. And all the shit that y'all might have been talking, now you were the one sitting there looking crazy. And yeah, I bet shit got tight there late. I could only imagine. Kevin the PRF, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, time to play with your earlies food. I don't know how to take that one, Kevin the PRF. The earlies are in. Let's get to them. I felt like there were some earlies. Let's see what we got. Okay. Cool. Okay, quick ones. Nice. Kino, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Kino writes, I needed to be resuscitated 3+ times. I bet. This was one of those games that definitely had you keep the defibrillator close by, without question. Strider, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Strider writes, I'll take it, but damn, heart attack. I mean, that's my wife she does not do games at all. She doesn't have the stomach for it. So she literally sat down here and watched pretty much the entire game. And at the end, I was surprised that she stuck it out, because normally when it gets tight like that, she don't have the stomach for it. And so she's like, come on, Commander. She was standing next to me. I hadn't said a word in a quarter, right? She's making all types of noises, and now she's standing up after they scored a touchdown, and she's cussing Defoe out, and I'm just sitting there quiet as a mouse, all right? And then when they got the stop, she was like, let's go. And I just looked at her, I just shook my head, and I got up, and I got ready for the show. I was like, better to be putting on white than black. She's like, go put that white shirt on, man. I was like, yes, ma'am. Going to put it on right now. So, yeah, heart attack is definitely accurate, for sure. And Strider, thank you for the super chat once again. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Strider, thank you for doubling up and greatly appreciate you. Going Commando, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, gotta be honest, the booty clinches a bit less with Crowder at punt return and not OZ. Luke looks good at kickoff return. Refs just admitted clock stop at 9 was a mistake. I wondered what happened there because when he got stopped at the goal line, I felt like the clock should have been a little bit further, and it looked like it paused for a little bit, and that's how they were able to spike the ball. Like, that shit felt like it should have run out on their ass. But instead, they had 3 seconds left, and obviously they threw the touchdown pass. So something went amiss, and they never corrected it. Like, isn't that what New York is there for? All that shit? Like, isn't that what they're supposed to be there for? To be able to correct the wrong like that? That was ridiculous. Almost cost us the damn game. I agree with you on punt returns, too. I told the mob, I said, Crowder's a natural back there. You feel it, and you kind of sense he belongs back there. Like, now I still thought there was a big play there to be made that he didn't make, you know, in terms of a return. He couldn't break the one tackle, but I'd still feel like he's a natural back there. He belongs back there. I agree with that. Jaquan Cooper, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, they tried us with the 9 seconds turned into 15. Man, I felt like those last 15 seconds was like 25 seconds. Like, I felt like the game should have run out because we did a good job of holding him up when they tackled him. Even though he got the first down, we held him up. And then, you know, Wagner did a veteran move, pulled the ball out. They kept him that. Like, I'm like, the game should be over. Why are we still like, why is the clock stopping? Like, it was crazy. It was crazy. Take command for life. Been a member for 36 months. Salute to you on your 3-year anniversary. Who writes 3 years. How sweet it is. Glad to have you on board. What a ride. I remember the first video I watched was the injury video on Bridgewater's ACL. Wow, you're going all the way back to 2018. That's crazy. That's crazy. Long time ago. Keep up the content, Lou, man. I really appreciate you. And we going back a ways if you're talking about that video. That's awesome. Davion Birdsong. Stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB mob. You know what to do. Show Davion some love. Welcome him with open arms. Welcome to the squad, Davion Birdsong. Glad to have you as the newest member of the MOBB. Metaphor. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, DQ needs a yell the truth Monday, not yell. I mean, that's not his move, and he doesn't necessarily need to yell to get his point across. We just got to execute, man. I mean, Cliff drew up some dimes. Frankie Louvu was put in a position to pick off a pass, and we didn't do it. Execution is the name of the game. We got to execute. We didn't, and it almost cost us a game. Like, this one isn't on the staff. They put us in positions to win this game comfortably. And we tried to screw the pooch. So that's on us. That's on the players. Take command for life. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, that Terry drop hurt my soul, not going to lie. Yeah, he got to catch that. And like, it wasn't like an easy drop. He can't stop running there. That hurt more than the drop itself. Because if he doesn't stop running, he's going to score easily. Like, Jaden put that ball exactly where it needed to be. But Terry's not running there really set up that he set the stage for that ball not being caught. Once it got to that point where he had to juggle it and bobble it and all, like, at that point, you could see where that was going. So just disappointed that it even got to that, because it should have been a touchdown, easy walk-in touchdown. Ralph, been a member for 6 months. Really appreciate you. Who writes, JD is good. Need to clean up the rookie mistakes. Nobody's tripping about. I mean, he's awesome. Like, he was outstanding today. Just the sacks, obviously. But when you say rookie mistakes, you just more so less talking about the sacks. Like, he didn't make any mistakes for real, other than the sacks, right? And he missed a deep throw. That's not a rookie mistake. He just missed. Shit happens, right? JB, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, Lou, do you think Washington should draft a kicker? Yeah. Look, I'm not necessarily advocating for drafting a kicker. Just see how the draft falls. Like, you can find kickers. Just they have to invest in a kicker, whether that's free agency, finding a good kicker out there on the streets, or you have to, draft one, or you get a undrafted guy that, like, you just got to find one. But you cannot come back next year with the situation being what it is right now. Cannot do it. Oh, Najee out here spreading Christmas cheer, huh? Giving out gifts. That's what we're doing now. Okay, cool. Ethan Dykes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Right. JD5, stop running out of bounds. Yeah. Again, somebody's got to talk to that young fella about that. I don't know if they've made it a point of emphasis to explain to him that that's not the move in that situation or what, but something needs to be done, because he's still doing it. And he is a guy that is a quick study. So I'm pretty sure if they would have said to him, hey, bro, don't do that, he would stop doing it. But clearly they haven't said anything to him. I that's my guess, because he's still doing it. So CMG 87, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. CMG87 writes, Lou, some of the game management was sus. Snapping the ball at 11 seconds with under 6 to play. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a rookie mistake. That you got to make sure you express to him, hey, don't snap this ball until we get under 5 seconds. I thought about the same thing because we were getting to that point now where we needed to start burning clock. He says running on the 2 and running on the 2nd and a mile have to be better. I'll take the dub. Yeah, I thought some of the things they could have done better. I talked about throwing that wide receiver screen. I didn't like that. But some of the game management from that perspective, yes, I agree. But I mean, those are things that are easily cleaned up. Excuse me. But we got to be better, and I think they will be better moving forward. But it sucks to see the situation kind of unfolding, and you see a play where they snap it with 11 seconds left, and then they end up having 3 seconds left at the end of the game to try and beat us with. So it's the little things that add up, right? So gotta clean that up. CGM87, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? I meant not running. Yeah, I know what you meant. I know what you meant. Steroid, Edie's son, did his best to screw us today. I don't get stopping the clock for 6 seconds when the Saints got to the 1. Again, I thought the game should have been over. And I was like snapping silently about the clock. Like, what's going on with the clock? And of course, but you know what? That was a fitting way for the game to end because we got screwed by the officials all day today. So it was only fitting that somehow they would miss a whole magical 6 seconds not being, run there, where with the game having 3 seconds remaining. Like, there's no way they should have gotten another playoff. And that's the whole thing that I was saying when he completed the pass. We did a good job of holding him up because he was fighting, and then, pulling him back and then pulling him down and ripping the ball out. And all the things we did to delay, all the tactics that we used were perfect. And they should have never gotten another snap off. Ethan Dykes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My God. Right. Can we talk about how Luke and Sennett still don't see the ball despite the injuries? Coleman was asked, name some good Louie. I need some positivity. Shaking my head. I mean, there were plenty of positives. The connection between Terry and Jaden continues to grow. We did see Ben catch the ball. He was the reason we even had a chance to get to that 4th down, right? And Jaden convert. I thought that we saw some good things from the pass rush. I actually thought the pass rush was good today. BS calls, but I thought the blitz packages were great. We got a lot of free pressure, free hitters. I thought that Dorrance Armstrong was good. Dante Fowler Jr. was good today. I thought Payne was good today. We had opportunities for takeaways that we didn't convert, but the fact that they were there, I feel good about that. I thought Luke looked good on kickoff returns. I thought that Jamison Crowder looked good on punt returns. I actually thought he didn't look too bad as a receiver either. He had a catch on the 3rd down. I love Jaden is fully back. Like, there's a lot of positives from today's game. Guys stepped up. OZ stepped up. Diami stepped up with more opportunities. Those guys played well. We didn't take advantage of opportunities. Wilfredo Elias, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, Luke looks all right at kick returner and JC Ice at punt returner. I literally just said that. That's crazy. But yes, I totally agree with you on that. JB, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. JB writes, you answered my question. Good. I'm glad that I was able to do that. GT7, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, was Cade York unemployed at the start of the season because he has a strong leg? Yeah, he wasn't unemployed, but he was going to be unemployed because he wasn't going to make the Browns roster. And we traded for him because they were going to cut him. And instead of him being exposed to the rest of the league, we went ahead and signed him or traded for him to give him an opportunity. He has a strong leg, but it's inaccurate, which we found out in week 1. And so they got rid of him. Ethan Dykes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Ethan Dykes writes, not used to being stressed in December, man. Yeesh. It's better than, it beats the alternative, right? It's better than playing unimportant, irrelevant December games. We've been there before. Shit, we were just there last year. So it beats the alternative. Much rather be doing this than doing what the Giants are doing what the Cowboys are doing right now, right? Get me stressed all day long. Bird Song, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. So you changed your name that quick, huh? If nothing else, a lockdown corner is nice to have. Isn't it, though? Isn't it? Isn't it good to just, he hasn't been targeted all day. They were strictly working the right side of the field. It's like the left side was under construction and you couldn't go over there. And it was marked off by traffic cones. Like you can't even go over there. That shit was beautiful. But if that's the case, then we got to be tighter on that right side and be a little bit more aggressive if you know they're going to try to come at you. But it is nice. We're not used to this. We're not used to having this type of stuff. So, yes, it is nice to have it. Ron Gullery, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Ron writes, at 4th and 3 with 17 seconds on the clock, the play clock will stop and pause when it gets to 9 for 4 seconds before the touchdown to give them a chance to win. The game was over before they line up for a touchdown. We shouldn't have been in that position. I agree. It was insane that the clock stopped the way that it did. But again, with the day that the officials had and the way the officiating went, I'm not shocked that they had a clock operating issue and snafu there that almost cost us the game. And you know what they would have done had they gotten a 2-point conversion? They would have offered up an apology. Oh, we're sorry. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. We lost the game because of that. You know, when they turn stuff into the league, like that doesn't, there's no solace taken in them saying, yeah, no, we messed up. That's our fault. That's our fault. Our bad. Like we don't take any solace in that. We lost the game. If we would have lost this game, I would have had a big problem with that. A big problem. But the football gods, like I said, the football gods always right or wrong. That's why I don't trip about stuff like that. Because if it's meant to be, it'll be. The football gods will rectify the issue. And they did. Barrett Downing, been a member for 39 months. Salute to my guy BD, who writes, man on the edge of my seat about to vomit, LOL. Had we lost this game, I would have been as sick as I've been after a loss all season. I could feel the nausea bubbling in the pit of my stomach as I watched this thing kind of, unfold the way that it was unfold. Because I saw it coming a mile away. With all the mistakes we were making, it felt just like the Bears game. Like you're going to allow a team to come back and steal this from us because you can't make one play that'll put this game away. Whether it's Oos not catching a pick, Jaden not hitting Terry, Terry not continuing to run through the football, not throwing the PI flag there, a holding penalty on Allegretti when we got the ball 1st and 10 inside the 20-yard line with a chance to ice the game. You saw every single thing that could go wrong did go wrong, and you're like, okay, I see where this is going. And I felt sick. But we got the win, right? We got the win. GT7, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. GT7 writes, Jaden said he played twice in the Superdome, lost the first one by 1 and won this one by 1 point. Crazy. Yeah, he got lucky. Could have easily been lost by 1 twice. Could have easily been that. GT7, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. GT7 writes, Louie, surprised you haven't sung JC Ice yet. LOL. Not until he does something worth singing it for. I thought he looked comfortable on the punt returns, but he didn't break one. He had a good 3rd down catch, but nothing significant. Once he makes a play, I'll break out the song. But I got what I realize is I got to stop blessing dudes with nicknames and, you know, cool songs and shit. You got to earn that, right? Once upon a time, he did earn that, but we ain't back there yet. He got to earn that for me to be singing it. But we'll get there. If he keeps playing like he did today, eventually we'll get there. If he keeps getting the opportunities, somebody got to sit down next week. Somebody got to sit down. Unless you keep it 6 receivers, somebody got to sit down. So we'll see what they ultimately decide to do. But somebody's going to be either a healthy scratch at the receiver position, because Osborne is going to be up. So somebody's going to be down, or they're just going to keep 6 receivers, something we haven't done all season long. I talked about that. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, I digress. Let's go inside the odds, brought to you by BetUS once more before we get out of here.
Inside the odds.
So, again, BetUS has you covered. Fastest payouts in the industry. Get up to 10% back on your net losses twice a year. And again, if you have not betted with BetUS before, use the promo code YouTube150 to get you 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 and 125% sign-up bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150. This was the Commanders triple prop bet threat here. Jaden Daniels over under on 210 and a half yards passing, which he did in fact exceed. He had 226. He should have had 300 and something yards in this game. But I would have taken the over. I thought he'd be able to move the ball because the Saints were one of the worst defenses that we've seen in quite a while. So I thought we'd have those opportunities, and those opportunities were there, and we didn't take advantage of them. Brian Robinson Jr., 79 and a half yards. It's the highest total he's had going into a game via BetUS, because the Saints have one of the worst rush defenses in the league, and yet we weren't able to take advantage of it. And a lot of people will probably point to Tyler Biadasz's injury as to a reason why. Then you had Terry McLaurin, 67 yards and a half. I would have taken it over there. I thought Terry had a chance to have a big day, but I thought it would be, 123 yards, something like that. Terry had a chance to have 200 yards. He only ended up with 73, and that's really a travesty, but he did hit the over there. So over for Jaden, over for Terry, under for Brian Robinson Jr. Be sure to check out the prop builder also on BetUS as well. So let's get one more promo read here as well while we're at it. What's going on? It's your man Louie Tee here with a public service announcement. We're sunning and funning in June. That's right. We're heading to the DR, Punta Cana, all-inclusive resort, June 26th through the 30th. And I want you to be a part of the fun. All of the information you need is right here on this screen in front of you. Any extra added information that you need can be found in a video that's attached to the description of this video and any video that you see this promo in. Also, if you need further information or you just want clarification on something, feel free to email me, LouieTeeNetwork@gmail.com. June 26th through the 30th, we're heading to the DR, and we're going to have a blast. And I'm going to make sure this is a time you won't forget. And a lot of the things we do on this trip, we will not repeat again on future trips. So you don't want to miss this trip. You need to be 21 years of age or older to attend, and you also need to have a passport. That is important as well. Also, take advantage of this holiday special we have on the registration fee. Knock $50 off of the registration fee. And then if you're a member of the mob, knock an additional percentage off of that good through the end of this year. So you don't want to miss out. Take advantage of it while that offer still lasts. So any questions, hit me up. We're going to the DR. We're sunning and funning, and I want you to be a part of the fun. Come join your man Louie Tee as we turn up in the DR. So just want to continue to remind you guys about the trip to the DR, June 26th through the 30th. We're going to have a blast. I'm looking forward to having you guys be in attendance. go ahead and take advantage of the registration special, this holiday special that we're having through the end of the year. Knock off $50 off the registration. And then if you're a member of the mob, you knock off another percentage off of that 50 as well, in addition to that 50 rather. So we're going to have a blast on that trip. Want you guys to be in attendance. So make sure that you are going ahead and registering for the trip. The link is in the description of this video. You got any questions? There's a video that you can access. That's also in the description of this video that you can check out to give you all the information that you need. And if you have any further questions, you can always email me, LouieTeeNetwork@gmail.com. Once again, we're going to the DR in June, and I want y'all to be there when we sunning and funning, right? So let's wrap this thing up. Joe Rockhead, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Joe Rockhead writes, "Sup, Lou? Sup, Joe Rockhead?" Says, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, "Seems like the more opponent disrespect I hear during the week, the closer we come to losing. Tyler B was sorely missed. We should play a Tribe Called Quest. Can I kick it before field goals?" Yeah, anytime we disrespect the opponent, anytime Vegas disrespects the opponent, we don't seem to fare well in those environments, right? Dallas, we were a double-digit point favorite, lost the game. We were 9-point favorites in this game at the time of kickoff, almost blew this game. Again, that's a part of this process, right? Handling success, handling opponents that you are supposed to dispose and dispatch of with ease, and doing that, right? We have not done that this year. And so not in the games that we were expected to. The games that we ultimately did it in, Tennessee, we were on a 3-game losing streak. We were only 3-point favorites, I believe, 3 or 4-point favorites in that game, right? I think it come down to like 5, right? But it started out at 7.5, and I think it came down to like 5.5, 5. So Vegas was having second thoughts about us, right? The Browns game, we probably were just 3-point favorites in that game, if I had to guess. We were underdogs against Arizona, as we should have been, like early in the season. So those games where we won big going away, Vegas wasn't super confident. They were super confident today. They were super confident against Dallas, lost against Dallas, almost lost today. And we gotta rise to the occasion, right? When much is expected of us, I expect more out of us, and we've gotten less out of this team in those situations. So we're still trying to learn how to win in those environments, but a win's a win, as I've said. A win's a win's a win in the National Football League. I'll take it any way I can get it. Juan Gotti, talking sports. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, "Coach Harris would tear this DB room a new one right now." Man, I feel like we have a good enough secondary, like with the pieces. We can be better in the secondary, obviously, but we got a good enough secondary where we should be generating more turnovers, and we're not. But I trust this group, right? I don't necessarily we hear more about the assistant defensive backs coach and Jason Simmons than we do the actual defensive backs coach itself. So I don't know, what that's about, but yeah. Juan Gotti, talking sports. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, "I'm feeling real sick, CD Lou. Let's go Hawks." Well, here's the thing. They could lose tonight and we can get the 6th seed, but we would have to hold on to it by winning. We're gonna have to hold on to it by winning. So we'll see what happens tonight. We do have a rooting interest. But like I said, when the Rams played on Thursday, whether they win or not is of no consequence. We got to take care of our business, and everything else will take care of itself. Everything can be rendered irrelevant if we do what we are supposed to do. And we almost didn't do what we needed to do today. And that's scary, because I need them to lock in and focus. Now we're in the dog days of December. When shit matters the most, this is when your best is required, and we didn't make the plays. We left a lot of points and opportunities on the field today, and it almost cost them. And I hope that they use this as a building block, as an opportunity to say, hey, we are better than this, and we have to play better than this moving forward. Because if they don't, you won't beat any of the remaining teams on the schedule playing like you did today. The good thing is we're not relegated to just playing like this, right? We won the game. We escaped with the dub. Now we got to find a way to be better next week. And I think they will. I think they will respond with a much better effort next week against the Philadelphia Eagles. Zay the man, been a member for 14 months. Did anyone else see this clock stop before they spiked it? Yeah, we talked about that already, Zay. Like, they was wilding with the clock spiking. Like, they was wilding. So, and it almost cost us the game. An apology isn't suffice. That's not okay. They got to get their lives together. So, anyway, I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on this installment of the Command Post Game Live Show. Commanders, get it done. Wow. Denver Broncos look like they about to bust this thing open. Pick 6 by Nick Bonito, and it's over. Nick Bonito is such a stud. I want one of those so bad. That's the second time in 3 weeks he's had a pick 6, Nick Bonito, and he's an edge rusher. I mean, this is crazy. Anyway, they look like they're going to win. Eagles look like they're going to put away the Steelers. That fumble by Najee Harris looks like that's going to put that game in a perilous state there. They took the ball, scored after that. Then the Chargers, they're on life support here. Buccaneers are getting hot, man. They're getting red hot, bro. Baker is cooking. They're about to blow these boys out. And then the Bills are doing what I thought they would do to Detroit. I'm not surprised there. So anyway, I digress. One more shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this stream. Head over to betus.com and use the promo code YouTube150 to get 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 and 125% sign-up bonus on your next 2 deposits up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150. Hey, we won. Say it with me. We won. We're 9-5. Celebrate. We could be 8-6, and we could be having a very lousy day, but we're not. Not as clean of a performance, sloppy with the penalties, poorly officiated game, drop passes, missed opportunities, etc., but we won. Clean those things up, and I still think we got a chance to be a tough out in the NFC, but we're going to have to play better than we did today. But 9-5, sitting pretty, right where we need to be. Let's we'll lick our wounds, go ahead, head home, and then re-establish ourselves and figure out where we need to be next week for the Eagles, right? Until then, I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. You guys, have a good one. Take care. Celebrate. We 9-5. Don't feel bad at all.